Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live with Cami. This is Cami Wanis, the Freedom Scholar here. I'm so excited because today we're talking about how you're going to start the school year with increasing love of learning. You guys, this is the time where everybody's thinking about when we're going to start the school year. Maybe you have already, maybe you never stopped. That's one thing that we do. We can talk about that in another session. But right now, we're going to talk about how to increase love of learning because I'm seeing a lot everywhere where parents are saying they're starting the school year or their plan to start the school year is they're going to have a celebration. We're going to celebrate the start of the school year. Woo woo, right? And we're going to have, we're going to do some kind of special thing to kick off the school year. Or we're going to start in, we have all this, we're excited about the curriculum. Maybe we have a new desk, a new laptop, a new something. And we're super excited about doing that. But what we don't understand a lot of times is that some of that actually gets us lower level of love of learning. Yikes. I know. It's crazy. It can be really, really subconscious and we don't even understand it because it's not part of just what we normally do. So I want to make sure that what you're doing and what you're planning on doing to start the school year is actually going to increase love of learning and that you're starting in the right place, okay? Because what we can do unbeknownst to ourselves, because we just don't know, we don't know what we don't know, can lower love of learning. And then, gosh, you guys, we're starting like maybe we're excited the first week, but then after 3 weeks, we get complaining, frustration, we're nagging, and you guys know the drill, right? I've been there. I can totally tell you I've been there. We've been in a place where we were both crying every day. It was not very fun. And I have heard from hundreds of parents that are doing the exact same thing. We're on this roller coaster ride of one day they'll be with me and the next day they're not. And that is not what we want. We want consistent high level of love of learning because when we do that, you guys, everything is easier. Everything is easier. Life is easier. I promise you. It's so true that when we are constantly we're starting off at the wrong place and we're lowering love of learning, and then we have to regroup, we have to reset, we have to constantly battle to get back up what we lost, and that happens all the time. The start of the school year sets the tone for the rest of the year, right? And we don't want to set the tone to where we're battling to get back up again. Or maybe we started in a place where we didn't realize that love of learning was actually lower than we thought. It wasn't as high as we thought. We were excited about new books and everything, but then we started box checking and then we ended up getting the same learning expectations that we got before. Oh my gosh, you guys, seriously, it happens all the time. Trust me, it happens all the time. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you how the heck we can actually start. How do we start the year with high level of love of learning? I mean, it's something that we really want to think about and think about what your plan is, okay? So, if it sounds like you that you're like, I don't know where to start, actually, we were just planning on doing and just going ahead and starting our our curriculum. Let's talk, okay? Let's talk because we want to make sure that you're not starting and then going downhill and then having to spend the rest of the year trying to climb back up, okay? So let's talk. I'm going to put my link to booking a call with me down below in the show notes, in the all the descriptions, in the comments. And so you guys, no matter where you're watching or listening to this, you'll be able to find me. So make sure that you book a call with me or message me on social and let's chat. Okay. Let's chat about where you're at if that sounds like you. So, what do we do? What do we actually do? I want you to think about two things. I want you to really think about these two things. One, we already talked about it. I want you to think about the level of love of learning that you're starting from right now. And if you don't know what that is, I want you to go to thefreedomscholar.com. There's a little banner at the top in black and it says Love of Learning Assessment. You can get your free Love of Learning assessment there. I want you to take the assessment right away, download it, and I want you to save it and take it again and again and again. Once a month, once every couple months, once every 6 months when you've got it down. But really, you need to take it right now. Where are you at in your level of love of learning? I mean, you, your family, and you yourself. I know that's crazy, right? But have you done an effective family reset over the summer? Did you need to do one? Do you need to do one still? Because you could do that. The beauty of homeschooling is sometimes we have to check some boxes if we're doing for a specific state's requirements or if we're with a charter school of some kind. But we typically speaking, we can take the time to do a family reset and still do what we need to do. But it's got to be intentional, you guys. It has to be intentional. It's very important that it's intentional. And if you don't have that high level of love of learning, then you need to get it up before we start the school year, right? Before we start doing all the things. And we're still learning while we're doing the family reset. That's the fun part about it. If you don't know what that is, if you need some help with that, contact me. We'll talk about it, okay? And that's what we do in the Inspiring Lifelong Learning program, by the way. That is one of the first things we do is make sure that love of learning is high. We unlearn some things, we learn some new things. Because you guys, you can't start the new school year with the same thinking that you had before that wasn't working, if it wasn't working. Okay. You have to reset that before you start again. Does that make sense? And that means you too. We have to unlearn our learning expectations and learn new learning expectations, right? That are experiences that are fun and shows us the right message, which is number 2. That's the number 2 thing I want you to think about. The first thing is love of learning assessment, and the second thing is I want you to think about what message am I sending about what I'm planning to do? What message is it going to send to my family? What message is it going to send to me? I know you guys heard me last week in the live that I did last week. If you haven't watched or listened to that yet, go back to that episode because it is so key to understand what curriculum is about and the box checking there. Okay. It's a tool, it's a good thing. Sometimes not, right? Depending on how we use it. So I want you to think about that, especially those all in one curriculums, right? So go back and listen to that. But what message are you sending about the way that you're starting the school year? What message are you sending about learning? Is it that, whoo, man, here we go. All right, another year. We got this, you guys. Is that the message that we're sending? I know sometimes it feels like that if we started off in the wrong place, but that's when we need a family reset. Talk to me, okay? Let's not start off on that foot. Is it the message that learning happens during the school year or that important learning happens during the school year? The things we learn outside of the school year aren't as important. Hmm, that's something to think about, isn't it? Is it the message of learning happens everywhere all the time? Because that's the message that we want to send. That's my mantra, you guys. You guys know I say that all the time. Learning happens everywhere all the time. Is that the message that we're sending? And homeschooling is learning through life. I say that all the time as well. So, is that the message that we're sending through the way that we're planning on starting the school year? Is the message perhaps that learning happens in a curriculum? Box checking, right? That's something we feel like we're doing good as parents because we've checked the boxes. But is that giving them freedom to learn? And is that actually increasing their love of learning and becoming lifelong learners? Or is it telling them, here's when we learn, here's what we learn, and here's when to think, and here's like what to think, right? What are the messages that we're sending? You guys got to listen to last week's live or watch that video if you haven't yet. It's all about this, right? But what is the message that you're sending? If you're unclear about that, let's chat because we need to figure that out. Is the message that you're sending, we're full on learning mode now, whereas in the summer we weren't in learning mode? That's a tricky one. Is that sending the message that learning happens everywhere all the time? I know I talk fast sometimes, right? Hope you guys can keep up. If you're listening to this on podcast and you sped it up, we got problems. But think about how you can start the school year with love of learning already high, how you can increase it with not checking the boxes, but providing the Freedom Scholar, you guys, means a lot of things about freedom. But one of the things it means is the freedom to learn. Are you providing the opportunity for the freedom to learn? And are you sending the right message about that, right? And are you intentional about the message? We have to be intentional if we want the results of that end goal when they're 18 and they're leaving our house and we're wanting to make sure that they're the people that we intended to create, right? So that's something you want to think about. What is that end goal? And then is the message I'm sending going to get us there? Because I guarantee you checking boxes probably isn't it. I've talked with hundreds of families every single day. And I'm telling you, I've never talked to a family that's like, yep, we just want to check those boxes. Actually, I have. I can't say that. I have. And those are the families who aren't willing to do the work, who aren't really intentional about creating a beautiful person and a leader. And that's okay if that's what you want. But that's not who we're talking about, because I know you and you're not one of those people, because we want to create lifelong learners and leaders, right? So this is something I want you to also think about. Are you including your kids' interests? Nobody wants to learn about something they're not interested in. I don't. I am not interested in learning about I wasn't interested in learning about audio editing, right? But when I made a podcast, I had to learn about that a little bit anyway, right? So some of that happens when we want to do something, but we are interested in some things. I got my love of learning back when I was in college, as in my senior year, back when we had to, like, you guys that are younger don't understand, but we used to have to Xerox copy things a lot from the library because we couldn't access, there just wasn't available like online, everything online. And then you also, so you couldn't check out all the reference books. So anywho, I was sitting in my room with piles of papers around me, writing a research paper about something I was super interested in and like, whoa, passionate about. And I was like, what? This is my whole job. This is what I get to just learn about stuff I want to learn about. And I was almost done with college and I was like, ugh, I wish I would have done more of this. And actually, I never lost my love of learning after that. I was just like, man, let's dig in. But the whole school career, I was really good at checking boxes. I was really good at doing just enough to check the box. Not anymore. I was never the person that put glitter and stickers and things like that all over their poster boards. My sister was like that. But I was the one that got the info on there just as it needed to be, and there you go. We're done, right? So, it's important that we start off with a high level of love of learning in their interest level. That's a great way to start, you guys. It's a great way to start. So have fun, ease into it. When I see people celebrating the start of the school year, you guys, I saw this morning a post but from someone who said, we're going on a field trip to celebrate this fact that we're not in public school anymore and we get to homeschool. That is fabulous. That's increasing love of learning. That's sending the right message. If we're celebrating, woo woo, here we go, learning again, celebrate the school year, right? I don't know. It depends, really. Sometimes that's level of love of learning, our high level of love of learning, and sometimes increasing level of learning. But most of the time, it's telling them, We learn during the school year. Woo woo, school year. We're learning important things during the school year. Outside the school year, not important things. Maybe we're still learning, but it's not important things. Now we're doing the real things, the important things. That was the mentality I had when we started. My son was 6 and we started homeschooling. I was like, we're going to do real learning now. I don't even know what the message was I sending. I was sending the message that this is important learning. And all the learning we've done up until now didn't really matter, or it wasn't very important learning. And that lowered my son's level of love of learning. And then we were crying every day. And so I get it, you guys. I've totally been there, right? I've totally been there. So things you can do like field trips or hands-on activities like cooking or science labs and things like that. That's just fun for kids. They like that. Even teenagers like it too. Okay? But how can you get together with some friends and do something, for teens, get together with some friends or a co-op or something like that and just do something fun, right? That's a great way, and then ease into it. That doesn't mean we start box checking at some point, like all the way box checking, but it does mean, we do have to check some boxes, especially during high school, but it doesn't have to look like school at home. If you're just planning on starting the school year, open up the textbook. Here we go, page 1. Eek. Let's think about a different way. Okay. Let's think about a different way because that's going to lower your level of love of learning in your home. You want to increase it, right? Okay. And then ease into some of it. And if that doesn't make sense, I know it's kind of vague because it's individual to every family. You guys, I'm right here. Hello. Talk to me. Talk to me. Book a call with me. I know it's like people don't want to be all, I don't want to air my stuff or whatever. I've been in almost every place you've been. Okay. So either that or I've helped people who have. So please reach out to me and let's chat because you guys, this is what we want to do with setting the tone for the school year. Learning happens everywhere all the time. And that is exactly what we do in the Raising Leaders Roadmap. The Raising Leaders Roadmap, you guys, takes you from where you are to your end goal, that 18 years, that what kind of people do we want to raise? What kind of things do we want them to know? What skills do we want them to have? And then we take steps along the way to give you the skills, the thinking, the routines, the habits that create a culture, an environment to where love of learning is high and stays high for lifelong learners and leaders that go out in the world and make this world a better place through their gifts and talents and their passions and what stirs their soul. You guys, that's what the Inspiring Lifelong Learning Program does. It creates the culture and environment and teaches you those skills to get it high. That's the first part of the Raising Leaders Roadmap. So I definitely want you to be able to sustain it, but we have to start high in the beginning of the school year. If you're not starting super high, well, first you got to take the assessment, right? To find out if you are. And if we're not starting there, then we got to get it high. And then we have to figure out, okay, how can we keep it high without lowering it through what we're starting the school year with? Got to think about those messages that we're sending, right? That's huge, you guys. That's really huge. When you start being intentional about what are the outcomes, what are the consequences, what are the thinking messages that we're sending. I know that's a lot to think about, but you guys, this is my jam. This is what I love to do. This is what I do every single day is help parents create this high level of love of learning and maintain it. So let's chat. I'm excited to talk with you guys. I hope that you have the best start of the school year, and I hope that your love of learning is already high. And if it's not, don't worry, we can get it there. No problem. But we're going to have a great school year, and it's going to be so fun. So I look forward to talking with you guys, and I will see you again next week.